5 years ago, I played what would then be one of my favorite games of all time in Red Dead Redemption 2. I never played the original, but I know in the timeline, it's what happens after Red Dead 2, so how could I resist? This is Red Dead Redemption. Don't go away. So, as the intro said, this is the events of what happened after Red Dead 2. Now, I have the wacky experience of playing Red Dead 2 and then this, so technically I played it in chronological order. But I basically picked this game up specifically to see the end of Javier, Bill Williamson, Dutch. Now, I will say I could not avoid the spoilers over the past 10 years of what happens to John Marston at the end, so I knew that was coming. Now, straight up, story-wise is where this game carries. I mean, the story carries this game pretty hard, in my opinion, compared to everything else it offers. After the gang broke up, John tried to go straight. The government has kidnapped his family and has literally forced him to try and hunt down his old gang members. Otherwise, family dies. That's just how it is. So he's forced to do it. Along the way, you meet some pretty interesting characters and people like Bonnie McFarlane or Landon Ricketts. But you also meet some absolutely off-the-wall crazy characters like Mr. Dickens was one of my favorites. And Seth, which I swear he should have a crazier name than Seth because he was crazy.
John Marston.
Goodbye, John Marston. It's been a great pleasure.
I need your help, Seth. We need your help. Me and Mr. West Dickens.
Let me be frank for 1 second, partner. I hate people. It was people who got me in this mess in the first place.
Long story short, you find yourself traveling all across the border, even dipping into Mexico for a few good missions, in my opinion. You eventually deal with Bill Williamson, Javier, and I gotta be honest, there wasn't too much interesting stuff there. But with Dutch was really interesting. Dutch was my favorite character from Red Dead 1 because... Or Red Dead 1, what the fuck? Dutch was my favorite character from Red Dead 2 because he was the most interesting character. Arthur was great, don't get me wrong, but the moral dilemma and the slow flip side you see from Dutch going from good to crazy was insane. And I kind of expected Dutch to be even crazier here, but he seems exactly the same. And that was such a happy surprise, honestly. Because I played Red Dead 2 first and the gang members was primarily what I was interested in here, I have to say Dutch was the best part of Red Dead 1 as well. I just always wanted to listen to what he had to say. I clung to pretty much every word, every sentence he talked about. I wish he was more prominent in the game. Of course, he was in there towards more the end. But any scene with Dutch is worth the price of entry, in my opinion. If you're going to play Red Dead 1, or if you've played Red Dead 2 and you want to play Red Dead 1, just for Dutch, I would say play this game.
When I'm gone, they'll just find another monster. They have to. Because they have to justify their wages.
That's their business.
Our time has passed, John.
Now, honestly, the ending I know is really great, but I was spoiled on this quite a long time ago. It was a big game, one game of the year, so I already knew that John was going to die in the end. And I don't really have much to say. John's death was, I feel like it was a really good scene. You bust out the barn, bang, 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 quick draw, everything, and it's there's way too many guys to take on here. So, and it even stung doubly hard when you also realize that Abigail died 3 years later. So, literally got a double kill in. Straying away from the story, gameplay wise, I do gotta say I'm a little bit disappointed here. You do two things in this game, and this game's like 15 to 20 hours, 10 to 20 hours, or something like that, depending on how much side stuff you do. And you still only do two things in this game. You either A, riding your horse from point A to point B, or the second thing you're doing is shooting your gun. Seriously, 90% of missions start with dialogue. We need to go here. Hop on your horse, John, or hop on this cart wagon or whatever. Maybe shoot some things on the way. Go to point B, get off, shoot some things. Ride your horse to the next mission. Oh, do a dialogue scene? I need this. Get on your horse, ride to point B, pick up package, come back, mission complete. If it wasn't for the story and the fact this game isn't absurdly long, I would have tired of this a little quicker than usual. It is fluffed up a bit when you do have random events when riding, like, this little lady on the side of the road needs help, or this guy needs help. But it gets a little repetitive when you realize that the guy on the side of the road is just going to take your horse and you shoot him. And seriously, 6 or 7 times or 8 times, there's a guy I need help. So I'd get off my horse and he would steal my horse and I would shoot him. You do have the one-off missions of what was it? Horse wrangling, which was okay. You had a hunting mission, but that was more towards the end of the game with Jack. And you do have the cattle rearing, which was really boring in my opinion. Like the first time was like, oh, let's go, you know, it was thundering and all this, and it was a huge storm, and it was very interesting. But like you do that mission like 4 or 5 times, and there is no difference. You just ride behind the cattle, and when one pops off, you just go there and it comes back. You do that like 4 or 5 times. And these aren't like short missions or anything. Seriously, there was very, very little variety in the amount of missions and what you do in them. And if it wasn't for how good the gunplay is, it would have honestly not been that great. Now, the shooting aspect of this game is kind of what holds it up in the gameplay category. Most specifically, Deadeye. If Deadeye wasn't in the game, I feel like this would be getting old pretty quick.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Guns blend together. I had no idea what repeater I had equipped because they all do the same thing. All the shotguns blended together. Like the difference between a semi-auto and a double barrel, like usually like you'd feel like the power of the double barrel and the rapid fire of the semi-auto, but I didn't. I could not tell you the difference between the two guns. There was a good difference in pistols, mostly because the double action revolver can shoot rapid fire, so that was nice. But the Deadeye really takes the cake here. Deadeye never once got old. Every time you use Deadeye, you always feel like the top Legend of the West gunslinger. Deadeye all day, in my opinion.
Deal with those bastards, Marston.
And last but not least, for the people who are going to say, oh, well, if you don't like the missions, there are other stuff to do, such as the challenges, like the sharpshooter or hunting challenge. And yes, there are hunting challenges such as like, oh, kill 4 boar and 2 armadillo. But all that requires you to do is get on your horse, ride all the way to where the armadillo are on the map, shoot it, and then collect the carcass. Now, what do you get for this? Basically nothing. For presentation, I'm really not sure which direction I want to go here. On one hand, the game looks pretty clean. I gotta be honest. For 2010, looking pretty decent. The voice acting, for 2010, pretty incredible.
I got the railway, the people who pay my salary, trying to get me to turn a blind eye to them burning down settlements up there.
Deadeye is such a success because of the visual change and the sound effects. The music is almost constantly around you. I would have preferred a more prominent way of putting soundtracks in, but I have no complaints. The 3 main regions that you visit all have their own unique tracks, and overall, they're memorable and pretty good.
Come on.
The environment, as we slide into what I think is the okay/bad tier of presentation, the environment was okay. You do have a visual discrepancy between Mexico and the other side of the border in America, but I gotta be honest, it didn't help that every mission already felt the same because of what you're kind of doing, but you're pretty much doing all this in the exact same kind of looking area. Barren ass, desert ass looking at. Seriously, there was a mission where you had to go into a mine at one point, and I thought that was the coolest mission in the game because it's like, I'm finally not on my horse riding around shooting guys in an open desert, which was 80% of the missions I had up to that point. So walking through the mines, sort of stealthily, trying to figure out who's around the corner and whatnot, that was like one of the best missions and most memorable missions in the game to me. Customization was lacking. The outfits, although I do like that you could get outfits by doing like challenges and stuff, I feel like maybe save those for the more legendary outfits or some shit. And like there was no outfits to buy. Like I went to the tailor and the tailor had nothing. Why have the tailor in the game in the first place? You can't customize anything on your gun. And I gotta be honest, I could not find a health bar in this game at all. I didn't know when I was at low health at any point other than just like the amount of blood on screen. So presentation got quite a bit right, but there was a good amount that I would have changed. So for Overall Impact, I have a problem with trying to decipher how much I like this game. Because I do like this game. I had a good time with it. And, but why? The main reason why I even play this game is because I want to know the end story of Dutch, Javier, Bill Williamson, and the gang. If I never played Red Dead 2 and I just picked this up, would I still enjoy the aspects of Dutch and Bill Williamson? I don't think so. Not as much, at least. There's still a hell of a lot good here. John, I gotta say, is probably one of the most underrated funny characters I've seen. He just, like, his whole character is so likable and funny.
Where's my wife and son?
Being well looked after. Well looked after.
I want to see him.
Mr. Ross wants to speak with you. We've had some important developments.
You want me to take out a gun and blow a fucking hole in your head right here? Right now? You want that?
Mr. Marston.
You want that?
Mr. Marston, I ask you to calm
Dialogue
down.
and storytelling is top notch, and you're always on the edge of my seat. Deadeye was always sick to use. Combat was fun thanks to how much fun it was to use 6 bullets on one guy with Deadeye, or just chuck Molotovs and dynamite around. But at times, this game also relies on your patience to do nothing but just ride a horse on endless desert roads. I would have enjoyed more interesting missions, like just have a mission where you walk into the forest and 10 bears attack the enemies. Like, I'm not even kidding you, just do some shit like that. I would have completely changed how duels work, because I actually lost like my first 5 duels in a row. I couldn't figure out how to win duels, and I realized, I was doing it wrong. What I was doing was I was drawing my weapon as fast as possible and shooting him as fast as possible. That's, you would think how you win a duel, quick draw duel. Actually, you draw your weapon, still as fast as possible, but you shoot, and then you wait, and then you shoot, and then you wait. I don't know. I feel like on a quick draw duel in the middle of the street, the fastest wins. Not the person who like times their like thing intervals enough. I did not enjoy duels at all. But at the end of the day, the story was the thing I was most interested in, and it completely delivered. So as John and Dutch's time may have passed, so has this review. I think it's time to review the score. 7.4 out of 10. So that's it. Red Dead Redemption is done. Funny enough, that's not the last Red Dead game. There is Red Dead Revolver. I don't even have that on my shelf. Maybe one day I will. Honestly, I probably will play it just to do a whole Red Dead series ranked. But for now, I'm your host, Safe Entertainment. I hope you guys review. Peace out.
I'm a terrible mother. Where is he? He's just a... Oh, they took my boy. My boy.
Who did?
He's missing. He's only a youngster. My boy is missing.
Where? Who took him?
Them people in the hills. Them hills near Hanging Rock. They took it.
What is up? I know what you're thinking. You're only here for the bonus Easter egg soundtrack I put in at the end of every video. But did you also know I have a donation page under Buy Me a Coffee? Donate whatever you want to my channel, and I'll put half that back to an environmental charity. So that's that. Enjoy the music. Peace out.